Saturday, June 24th, Wanderlei Silva is back. The Axe Murderer, a human weapon, the greatest middleweight in the history of the Pride Fighting Championships. One of the greatest fighters in the history of MMA, a living legend, returns to face his archenemy, Chael Sonnen, and put an end to their 7 years of hate.
He jumped me in front of my wife. You're gonna pay for that.
You're gonna see what's gonna happen. I wanna destroy Chael Sonnen, mother.
Plus, it's the return of the last emperor, the greatest MMA heavyweight of all time, Fedor Emelianenko. Riding a 5-fight winning streak, he steps into the cage against a man seeking to put him to sleep. Knockout artist Matt Mitrione.
I'm going to steal every single thing he's worked 20 years to earn.
We will travel from the streets of Brazil to the panoramas of Portland, from Russia and back to Indianapolis, Indiana, as we go behind the scenes and inside the lives of 4 fighters to tell the story of 2 epic main events on the biggest night in Bellator history.
Everybody's excited about this fight card coming to New York City with Wanderlei Silva and Chael Sonnen and Mitrione and Fedor. And then we have Lima and Michael Chandler. This is going to be the biggest event in the history of this company.
It's Sonnen Silva, countdown to Bellator NYC.
You get over with the microphone, man, you know, and you know that just from your career in MMA. I mean, a lot of it's just getting people emotionally invested.
Hey, I fully agree with you. I've got an idea. I'm willing to come back and perform again, you know, and let's set the gimmicks aside. Let's do a little more of a shoot here.
Brash.
Chael Sonnen, the biggest draw in the history of the business.
Outspoken.
The highest paid fighter in all of MMA.
Enigmatic.
This is the face that runs the place. The women's pet and the men's regret, and if you go against Chael Sonnen, then you made a bad bet. I'm a gangster. Come one, come all. 1-on-1, 2-on-1, or 5-on-1. I'll make sure you all need 9-1-1.
History has shown every gangster needs a sworn enemy to bring them to the pinnacle of their own evil. For Chael Sonnen, the American gangster, his foe is a legendary assassin.
Now that you see everyone's, opponent here and it's a press conference at MSG, is it a bit of a bummer not to be next to Wanderlei?
You and everybody else waited in the weather. You came to the press conference. Wanderlei, it looks like he found a bathroom as a backdrop in the men's shelter he's living at in Rio and got somebody to point a cell phone at his face. And I want to remind you, when you address me in public, you will do it proper. It's Mr. Sonnen. Try it one time.
Suck my balls.
Wanderlei Silva, the Axe Murderer, a brutal killer inside the ring who took the phrase "no holds barred" to violent new limits. Chael Sonnen has made a career of doing the unthinkable against the best in the world. When Anderson Silva, a living legend, was considered the world's greatest mixed martial artist, Chael Sonnen exposed him, dominated him, and crushed him round after round, giving him the worst beating of his career. In Japan, Wanderlei Silva left a bloody trail behind him against whomever he fought.
Blood everywhere.
None of that will matter to Chael Sonnen on June 24th. As each enters the cage for this epic showdown, one thing has become clear. If Wanderlei Silva is a legend, then Chael Sonnen is a legend killer.
If you look back at the history of these two guys, there's been some really insulting words, there's been some physical altercations.
I've known Wanderlei Silva a long time. I've been in street fights with Wanderlei Silva. I've sparred with Wanderlei Silva. I've done television shows where I essentially live side by side with Wanderlei Silva. I've traveled the roads with this guy. I don't like Wanderlei Silva, and he's not going to tell you anything different about me.
I want to punish him, for sure. And this is going to be a pleasure for me. A pleasure. A pleasure. When I saw the blood, it's crazy because I love it, especially when the blood of my opponent.
Wanderlei Silva is a madman. He holds the record for the longest winning streak in Pride, reigning as a champion when it was legal to soccer kick and stomp on a man's face. Coming from the brutal bare-knuckle world of Brazilian Vale Tudo, fighting in Japan was like a walk in the park. Throughout his career, Silva has left a who's who of victims in his wake. That warpath has brought him all the way to Bellator MMA, where you would have to be either the bravest man in the world or a fool to insult the axe murderer.
I am a professional. I started when I was 13 years old and soon be my job. I'll be busy. I start to have one fight after the other. I always wake up and thinking about my next opponent. And one day this thing stopped. I retired. Man, and now what am I gonna do?
These last 3 years, he was kind of sad. And I could see this in his eyes, you know, in his everyday life. He was happy, but this happiness not come from inside.
I never do my job for money. No, I do because I love it. I do because I thinking about the emotion of my fans.
He still have a lot of fire inside. I can see Wanderlei in another career. He loves to fight.
The time pass, I clean my situation, I start to sleeping better, eating better. I feel my body recover, I feel my mind recover. And one day, I wake up, I feel, man, I'm going to the gym. I start training again. It's something I do because I love it. I love to fight. And I feel that energy again. Because since I can't do 100%, I don't gonna do. Now I'm ready to back.
Coming up.
He talks a lot of bad things about my country. He's like a little kid, a little girl. He's gonna look like a little girl when I catch him.
And later.
The man many believe is the greatest mixed martial artist ever.
As Sonnen Silva countdown to Bellator NYC continues.
I just had one of the worst moments of my athletic career. I lost to Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz sucks. Nobody loses to Tito Ortiz.
You ready? You ready? Get out! He made 2 promises to his father before he died, that he'd become a world champion and that he would beat Tito Ortiz. And now he controls that destiny.
Takedown by Tito. Nice sweep by Chael. He has a great guillotine if he can get on top and use it. Angling off, getting in Darce choke position. Now he's really going for it. Look for him to sit that right hip down.
I made him tap. When he screams tap, I let a hold go. He denies saying tap, and the fight continues, and it threw me off.
He's out.
Fighting Tito left a terrible taste in my mouth. You gotta understand, he's the worst guy that I've ever faced, and he won the fight. That's really tough, man.
Chael's not a quitter, and he never talked about this. We were about 2.5 weeks out for heading down south, and he was sicker than a dog. He had a fever of about 102. We had just gotten over, you know, kind of a loss in his family.
We had the worst summer you could possibly have. We lost our daughter.
He was,
We think about her every day, we talk about her every day. Losing a child, you have a piece of you that's gone forever. It's unfathomable. The best distraction we probably could have had was him getting back in the ring and kind of just putting everything that we could as a family and just focusing on his next fight.
It's just hard to put life back in a priority of, okay, now fighting is important again.
How do you function in life? How do you go to practice? How do you do this? You just have to get up.
There's good days and bad days. There's days where, we just sat here and did our little walk. We do that walk every day, and that's how I kind of gauge what I'm going to get for the day. I didn't see the Chael that I've come to know as a warrior, and we had to rebuild that.
When you have a job to do, you gotta do your job, whether you feel like it or not. I really believe that. I will never not leave a locker room and just throw in a white towel and say I give up. If I'm at 80%, then I've got to make sure that 80% can beat my opponent's 100%. That's what it's about.
This is how he does it. This is where he's achieved his best success, pushing heavy rubber and heavy metal.
I lost to Tito Ortiz. That means I suck even worse than he does. Well, now I got to make changes. I'm not going to accept that.
During a heavy day, Chael will do the 750 100 times. So that's 75,000 pounds he's moving, and he does that in less than an hour.
Digging deep is hard, but you have to find a way if you want a different result. That's what being a fighter is.
I'm expecting again, it's still very early, but you just have to go on with life.
The Chael that's here now is getting back, and Vanderlei's going to see the old Chael. He's ready.
Vanderlei Silva versus Chael Sonnen is the one and only grudge match. It's the one and only fight that's never happened. I've fought 49 men, but I'd trade every one of those memories to get in there with Vanderlei Silva one time.
I'm happy because I'm back to training and I'm training good. I have motivation. I have some guy to beat. I have some stupid guys talking some stupid things about me. It's not too bad because I'm gonna have a chance to make this fight one of the biggest fights in the history. It's personal. It's 100% personal. And this is what makes this fight so special. We do something in Chicago, with a lot of people, and we go in the car, and I say, hey, this guy, he talk a lot of bad things about my country. I say, hey, I need to say something to this guy. I can't acting like nothing happened. I put my camera guy in the front. I talk to him, hey, I'm gonna ask him what is happening. I'm gonna check what's the reaction. You say you did the fight, you make promotion, it's good, but you need to be careful talking about some things like Brazil. You're talking bad things about Brazil, you don't know Brazil.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Like you're talking about the Nogueira brothers. These guys is a history of this sport. We need to respect this guy. The promotion is good, but we need to respect some things. These guys need to respect the country, don't do that, Mark. Because that's danger,
Sure.
Brazil, we have the things that you have respect, you feel you lost your teeth. In Brazil, we say that. Respect.
Thank you.
He reacted like a little kid, a little girl. And this is what I'm gonna do with him. He's gonna look like a little girl when I catch him. That's what I want to do. I don't want to just one. I want to push him. For sure, I wanted to feel his blood. I like my job. I like to hurt the people, especially when I don't like these guys. Of course, I don't like him. And this is going to be a pleasure for me.
coming up.
Here's the bottom line for Wanderlei Silva. You attack me, I'm gonna do some very bad things to you within the rules. You attack me in front of my wife, and there are no rules.
And later.
I understand he's a legend, but I'm coming to throw hands. It's gonna be a horrible knockout. Horrible.
As Sonnen Silva countdown to Bellator NYC continues.
When we moved to US, on the vacation time, we always came to visit family here in Brazil. My father-in-law, he sold his house, the house where they live. So I hid from him, but I bought the house again and I gave to his family. So it was a big surprise.
I remember everything, like these steps. I do these steps a lot of times. Here is the place when I clean here. I clean the place when the people coming to drink and eat. No, I work here for more than 10 years. Oh. This is my brother, Daniel, and we work together here, no? And we live here for, I started working here when I have 8 years old. When I fought, every time I thinking, I don't gonna be back to work over here. Not because I don't like it, because I thinking I can do something better. No, I'm so thankful to come from here, and I feel really good, feel really happy to change these steps in my life and be an idol and be the Wanderlei Silva. This is incredible for me. Tudo bom? Tranquilo? Valeu, prazer, tudo de bom, hein? Gostei. Because I came from nothing and be one of the best things in the world.
You know what I think? Money, it's a consequence. If you work for passion, you live happy and money comes.
Muito bom. Aprendeu comigo, né? You learned with me.
When I was growing up, everybody would say, "Oh, your dad is so cool and whatnot." And the question I would always get is your dad mad out of the ring? Is he really strict? And sometimes I would be like, yeah, one time he was really mad. He broke the glass because I did something wrong, but then I would say, no, he's actually really, really funny. And sometimes really crazy, but in a good way. But I think it's really cool how people, think of my dad. Obrigado. I really like the matchups that they did and how the history that they have. And I think it's going to be a really good fight.
Obrigado, pessoal. Boa noite, boa noite. I have my son on his side and make me better. I want to do my best in front of my son. The great honor can I have to give this present to my family, to my wife, to my son. Sit down there and watch my show. This is gonna be one of the best moments in my career.
Chael came here to Peninsula, and Peninsula was known as the ghetto. This was where you can get the best training. This is where you can get what you need. And he became a warrior.
I came from a family of wrestlers. My cousins wrestled, my uncles wrestled, my dad wrestled. Wrestling was just about finding out who the toughest was. There was no other sport that could do that. That was man-on-man with no team to back you up. I credit wrestling just for understanding life.
Hey, Chael.
I had fantastic coaches. I was trained by one of the old greats, Roy Pittman, and he always told us, if you're always ready, you never have to get ready. You stay ready.
Wrestling doesn't build character. It exposes it. Chael was a little frazzled kid with big knees, had a big heart. He was always good with words, still is. I always give these kids a new friend, and that friend is PAT. And PAT are the acronyms of pain, agony, and torture with a positive attitude today. And once you learn how to deal with PAT and accept him as your friend, then the sky's the limit.
Coach Pittman told me very early on, you're gonna learn three things. You're gonna learn how to lose, you're gonna learn how to win, you're gonna learn how to be a gentleman. And these are the lessons that you learn through wrestling. These are the lessons you learn through combat.
We've had over 160,000 kids come through the program, and they all know that, hey, this is home. This is home.
You keep training hard, stay focused, don't look back, man. Don't look back. No.
I'll do my part. I will call you as soon as the fight's done.
Okay, thank you very much.
Before his fight with Silva, he called me. He says, what am I gonna do? I said, kick his butt, man. You know, if not you, who?
Every piece of media I've done, people ask me the same thing. Why do you want to fight Wanderlei Silva? You want to know why I want to fight Wanderlei Silva?
I do want to know why.
He dances like Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld. That's one reason. Wanderlei Silva thinks that ice cubes are little clear rocks, and every time they melt, he thinks the world is coming to an end. And the number one reason I want to fight Wanderlei Silva, I have never felt he's given a satisfactory answer as to his whereabouts the day JFK was shot.
The reality is he punched you in the chest and said, meet me on the playground. Somebody poked you in the chest and said, let's get down. And that's why you're training the way you're training, and you're pissed off.
Eu sou daqui, né? Eu nasci aqui. Muito feliz de poder estar representando o meu país, representando a minha cidade. Os sonhos estão na realidade, the dream come true.
I wrote the book and I left it, but I realized I've still got a few pages to go. And it's like Marshall Mathers once said, they can walk like me, talk like me, dress, act, not give a damn like me, and they just might be the next best thing. But they're not quite me. I'm a gangster. Wanderlei Silva wants to jump me in Brazil. You try coming to West Lynn and doing that, I will bury you in my backyard. Here's the bottom line for Wanderlei Silva. You attack me, I'm gonna do some very bad things to you within the rules. You attack me in front of my wife, and there are no rules.
Chael, the American Gangster, Sonnen.
Once the door closes and someone locks that cage, it's Wanderlei, Chael, and the referee. And that's it. That's gonna be the moment of truth. May the best man win. That's how I feel.
Porque eu sou cara que, como foi falado, eu cresci na rua, eu sou lutador de rua. E quando você luta com um cara que realmente desrespeita, você sai um pouco do profissional, você leva um pouco pro lado pessoal. E é isso que mais está tendo nessa luta. Ele cruzou todas as linhas, passou de todos os limites e eu estou realmente muito feliz de poder resolver essa minha rixa com ele dentro do cage e lutando, né? Porque se tornou muito pessoal e quando fica assim é até perigoso.
Wanderlei Silva, Chael Sonnen, two great champions that have been on a collision course for years, both having faced the greatest in MMA. And when it came to common opponents, for all of the best in the world that Wanderlei Silva had wins over, Chael did the same. Wanderlei beat Brian Stann by knockout.
And it's over!
Chael Sonnen dominated him on the ground and submitted him.
And there's the tap!
Wanderlei beat current UFC middleweight champion Michael Bisping through 3 vicious rounds of war.
A very close, very intense fight.
Chael Sonnen easily had his way with Bisping.
Wow! Just like that!
On June 24th, Nothing will stop these two opposing forces from finally meeting in the cage to once and for all settle their 7-year score.
Feast your eyes and fantasize, ladies and gentlemen, because on June 24th, the king of pay-per-view is coming to your decrepit building in your concrete-ridden city. I'm taking your money, and I'm going back to Westland, Oregon, still undefeated and still undisputed. I can only imagine what it's like to be in your shoes or be one of the viewers at home, to get your little kid out of bed, to rewind it, watch it over and over and say, that's who I was telling you about. That's the guy. Headliner, Madison Square Garden. That's the guy. Fedor Emelianenko came all the way from Moscow to be next to. You will tell your kids' kids he was real. Chael Sonnen existed. The myth, the icon. Chael P. Sonnen, and the P stands for legend. You're welcome. It's kind of a drop the mic moment. This is kind of like yeah.
That's a cut. That's a cut.
Coming up.
Your legacy and your reputation aren't going to help you once the door shuts. All I do is knock people out, brother. And you're just another dude. I'm about to whoop that ass.
As Sonnen Silva countdown to Bellator NYC continues.
301, take one. Big mark.
The last emperor. With love.
Settling. And quiet all around. Thank you very much. No noise in the hallway. Thank you.
Hey, Fedor, thanks for being here.
Greedy green! And he drops it. My goodness, what a flurry! And again, Fedor drops it! The man many believe is the greatest mixed martial artist ever.
Where will training camp for this fight be? And are there any new fighters that you'll be training with to prepare for Matt?
Straight right down the shoot from Fedor. That's it, he got it, he got it, he's got it. Fedor does it. That's textbook.
When you reflect on your career to this point, what are some of the lessons that you learned?
Fedor Emelianenko, another victory. He is certainly the giant of MMA.
The last emperor, Fedor Emelianenko. Do not adjust your sets. This is really happening. Fedor Emelianenko has signed a multi-fight deal with Bellator MMA.
The greatest ever. The unbeaten warrior. Undefeated for a decade. Crushing everyone. The fight is inside of him. It wants to come out.
In one night, in 15 minutes, I'm going to steal every single thing he's worked 20 years to earn, and I'm going to take it all from him.
Still rolling.
Out of Indianapolis, Indiana, USA, presenting Matt Mitrione.
Oh, nice
he got hammered and it's over. And Matt Mitrione's Bellator debut is an unforgettable win.
All I do is knock people out, brother, and you're just another dude.
And now he is forcing his way in, and down goes Ali Thompson, and we're done.
Your legacy and your reputation aren't going to help you once the door shuts. Any given day, I'm the best fighter in the world. Any given day, I can knock out any heavyweight in the world, and no heavyweight's going to knock me out.
Matt Mitrione is an extraordinary story. He was a football star in Division I and the NFL, but his greatest notoriety came in 2010, inside the cage, when he took out the internet sensation at the pinnacle of his fame, the late, great Kimbo Slice. A feat he looks to duplicate on June 24th.
I was told before that I had an 85% fan disapproval rating. After I beat Kimbo, I had like a 93% fan approval rating. My life changed 180 degrees.
If the win over beloved Kimbo Slice rocketed him into stardom, his high-octane knockout performances since have kept him there. Now, years later, history repeats itself as a win over the greatest heavyweight of all time would jettison him into superstardom.
I'm coming to throw hands.
He follows up in that combination.
It's gonna be a horrible knockout, man. Horrible. I've lived a couple of really awesome lives. High school life is one thing, and then college life was another, and then NFL life, and then getting this job. But, you know, my life was also part of the reason why I got divorced. My awesome life of traveling and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Mitrione! Also cost me getting to know my children for a long time. My oldest is 11. I have 11, 8, 6, Jacob, Jonah, Gia. Just now, like, I'm finally developing a relationship where they're like, dude, I want to go to Dad's. Like, hey, Mom, I want to go to Dad's house. And we're just getting to that point now. We've probably been there for about 6 months. Are you doing your math right now? My man.
My dad's really strong. He's strong and fast. And when he punches the other people, they just go to sleep.
Hands up.
He bounces around. He's so athletic. Obviously played at Purdue. Such a unique heavyweight. Follows up in that combination. And down goes Ali Thompson, and we're done.
Matt realizes that he needs that big marquee victory to take his career and his brand to the next level. And he sees Fedor as that opportunity.
Fedor, you were awesome for a long time. You're still awesome now, but I'm about to whoop that ass. That's all there is to it.
Coming up.
I've got, 11 victories and 10 are by knockout. I'm no punk. The way I'm going to beat Fedor is going to be brutal. I'm going to put hands on him, hands and shins, until he goes to sleep. That's what I do.
As Sonnen Silva countdown to Bellator NYC continues.
3-1, take 2. Baker mark.
Fedor, can you talk a little bit about your opponent, Matt Mitrione, and what does he bring to this fight?
For Fedor, it's never mattered who his opponent was, and nothing's changed.
Fedor jumps on it. And he drops it.
Riding a 5-fight win streak, he's on top of the division. And when Fedor returns to America on June 24th, to the mecca of combat sports, Madison Square Garden, waiting for him like a hungry predator will be Matt Mitrione.
Mitrione gets the right hand
A beast, a fan favorite, and a Fedor fan.
Fedor is the GOAT, is the greatest of all time, hands down. The greatest heavyweight of all time, no question about it. Arguably the best fighter of all time. I understand he's a legend. I understand what he's done in his career. I get it, but he's never fought anybody like me. Nobody has. I am truly unique in the sport of mixed martial arts. There are no heavyweights that fight lefty, move like me, or as awkward as I am, has as much punching power as I do.
Oh, nice right hand, and it's over.
I'll steal your entire legacy in one night.
This is the match fans have wanted. The match that was scheduled to happen. Then, hours before.
Well, as most of you know by now, the main event tonight, Matt Mitrione and Fedor Emelianenko, will not happen.
Mitrione was hit with the paralyzing pain of kidney stones. The match was canceled.
June 24th is going to be the rebooking for my final opportunity to punch Fedor Emelianenko in his face. Lucky enough for me, I'm the sexiest fight in Bellator heavyweight, and Fedor didn't want to fight anybody else.
Fedor is known as the greatest heavyweight of all time.
Fedor Emelianenko!
You then look at Matt Mitrione, one of the greatest heavyweights of this time. He's taken on the experience, the toughness, the grit, the determination of Fedor.
He makes his Bellator debut, Fedor Emelianenko.
It's really a question of whose time is it.
New York City is the new home for this showdown.
Walk into Madison Square Garden in front of a sold-out arena with the biggest box office in history because Bellator called the king. Could you imagine the excitement that Fedor must have right now?
I'm compelled to ask what you think of what Chael said. Are you impressed by his words?
Я думаю, что он много говорит.
So we're headed down to Indianapolis, going to my gym, the IBG, Indie Boxing and Grappling, of which we refer to lovingly as Team 2-Ton. 2-Ton is a massive, massive team. I'm 278 right now, and I'm definitely the smallest person on the team. All these dudes have got refrigerator strength, which to me means that they can pick up a refrigerator and carry the block whenever they want to. Miserable to be underneath them, wrestling with them. It's a grind.
Yeah, I couldn't get my hand out. Good job. Come on. Oh.
Using all the tools that Matt has, his hands, his vicious kicks, with that quickness and speed, athleticism, but also with the power of an NFL lineman. He has all the tools to be, the greatest mixed martial artist there because, he's got it.
Buddy, what'd you see?
Your reflexes are really good and your instincts right now.
As soon as we hit the ground, you were moving, scrambling out.
Not all big men have the speed that he has. So he's got speed, footwork, and the punch you don't see is the one that hurts.
The uppercut right got through.
Just slinging bombs now.
The way I'm going to beat Fedor is going to be brutal. I'm going to put hands on him, hands and shins, until he goes to sleep. That's what I do. I've got, 11 victories and 10 are by knockout. I'm no punk.
The winner by knockout, Mitrione.
10 fights, you don't really get comfortable until you have about 10 fights. He's just warming up. I think Fedor's in for I was gonna say a long night, but it should be a short night.
Yeah, let's cut for a second, yeah.
All right, let's cut. 3, 2, 1, take 2. Make it mark.
On June 24th, for the first time ever, the silent ferocity of the greatest heavyweight in MMA history will be inside the Bellator cage.
And there's the tap.
A man of few words has returned to the heights he once obtained. And by letting his hands and feet speak for him, he screams from the cage.
Don't miss my fight on pay-per-view.
Thank you.
Tails.
This is a fight card you're not going to want to miss. I mean, there is real emotion between Vanderlei and Chael.
Chael talking too much. I'm gonna shut his mouth for good.
On June 24th, I will put an end to the myth of Vanderlei Silva.
Fedor, Mitrione, someone's going to get stopped in this fight. This fight's not going to go the distance.
Vicious. Big trouble early. He got clipped. And he drops it.
And then we have Lima and Michael Chandler. And you get to watch from top to bottom the most stacked card in the history of Bellator, and it's going to be unbelievable.